So today we are looking at text and arrays, and we are looking at it through the work of Aisha Jatoi. And one second, sorry, let me just shut all this other nonsense stuff that I have open. So Aisha is based out of Pakistan. She's born in 79, so not that uh, old as well, but fairly established. Her work is extremely minimal, like even if it's an installation or if it's a small painting, it's always fairly bare and monochromatic, and she uses that really in a very powerful way. And Some of it is text based, some of it is installations. There is so For example, this is what we'll be recreating, so I'll tell you about it a bit, and then I'll show you some more things that I found on the internet as well. So this is basically there were some bombings in Pakistan during a particular time period, and she kind of stamped out all the names of the places that were bombed and the total number of people, and it was part of a series which included also all the dates on which it happened. And in some places, she even kind of mentioned the same date twice, which is not an error, but actually there were two on the same day. So, with a very sort of simple and limited visual format, she was able to say quite a lot. Similarly, she does these series where she makes this, I think, almost kind of reminiscent of Zarina's like plans. So, woman offering a snake a drink. So, woman bowl snake. So very simple and like kind of almost like architectural line drawings in a way. And then some very beautifully like stippling based works, or maybe they're just prints or something. I don't know. Siai kalam on Vasli. Okay, so they are made by hand. Uh, so so yeah, and I'll just share this other one which I saw just now. Yeah, this is one. So here too, I think it was part of a larger show around where like some nations that kind of across South Asia, and then some artists were featured, and of course, I mean, there's Southeast Asia, Thailand as well. So some smaller countries were like kind of brought together in this very beautiful space in Dubai called uh, Al Sarkal Avenue. I wish Jyotika was here. She maybe have been able to tell us a bit more. I think she lives in Dubai. Um, so this is her work where she was like doing a performance and kind of folding these white pieces of cloth. I can't see any other images, which were basically a very interesting kind of observation from her around the idea of how across our region, white is the color of mourning, and she was kind of playing with that idea. I love how it says available for sale. So I think she was kind of like, it's a little performance type of a thing which she does, where she then kind of neatly folds away all the clothes and sorts them out. So you can see a very strong visual format that comes across with all of her works. So today we are kind of using this text work, and we're going to look at loading text onto a canvas, loading fonts, and then adding them to an array. An array is just, very simply put, it is a list, nothing big about it. And how to kind of use and manipulate lists within your sketch to try some interesting effects. So you can kind of just open up your sketches, and then we'll get it going. So not very difficult to add text, just like rectangle or circle, you can just make a text function. And in the brackets with double quotes or single quotes, you can say what you want to say. So I might say, okay, workshop, and then you just put the X and Y location. So it'll give you default font which it already has, and it always starts from the bottom left corner, so it grows out like that. So adding the font size is also very simple. You can add it either in raw, if you feel that you want to do different sizes. We'll do that. I think that'll just be easier. So I can it go and it works in pixel sizes also. So like 40 pixel, will just make it bigger, and you'll notice that if I make it bigger, it extends out just like our shapes and other forms that we do. So the text also allows me to add a width and a height. So I can now say that, okay, just give me 100 height and say 300 width. So it'll try to wrap the word into a little box of sorts. Oh, sorry. Oh, it didn't do it. Sorry. I assumed it would. Maybe if you have more words or something. Let me just see. Strange. Okay, we'll come back to this. Sorry. So now you can also do like text align. So as you can see, if there are two words, the second word's first letter is always capital. So you can align it center, which will give you center alignment, or so now what I'll explain to you is how to add fonts. So now I'm assuming that some of you may have some fonts lying around, but I will not assume that for everyone. So I'll first tell you how to add fonts from Google font library, like a font repository, foundry, whatever you want to call it. And then we look at how to do it manually also. So let me take something which looks very distinctly different from the regular one. So suppose I took this font. So I've just gone to, one second. Let me keep this open so you can see where I am. Give me a minute, please. So I've gone to fonts.google.com and I chose this font, whatever this was. I just need to do select here, and it'll give me a auto-generated kind of bunch of links, right? And it also tells me this is the name of the font and how do you use it. So I think all I need to do here now is I need to copy this, and not in Sketch, but in your index HTML file. After you see this line number 7, you just copy paste it. And then I think you can do a load font. Okay, let me just check this before I very confidently do something and it doesn't work out. Maybe I have an example lying around. Okay. And the name of the font was Fructor. Let's see if this works out. Yeah, okay. So once I've loaded that pre-prepared bunch of links, I just need to copy this name, and in my setup section I need to write text and then font F capital and add the name of the font here, and then it'll change that font out. So this allows us to, without really like having to stress too much about downloading a font and re-uploading it and then reusing it, we can very quickly use some very good fonts that Google has paid good typeface designers to build. So, and there is a lot of variety. There is, of course, multilingual as well, and I think to some extent p5.js does support multilinguality as well. So not too difficult to kind of express yourself in this format. So I could even change it out. So now, so see now I add this. So you'll see that thing didn't pop up again because I've now added two fonts here. One was the crazy looking one, and now I've added this here. So I just need to recopy this particular line here, but just kind of to save yourself the effort of like debugging it later, just copy the whole thing once again, remove all of it, and then copy it back. And then the font's name is Poppins, so I'll just change this out too. So there you go. So now you can see that it's not very difficult to change this out. In fact, there are some very beautiful sketches where people have used this quality of p5.js to like change between few fonts, which is also very nice. Anyways, so sorry, yeah. Oh, if you want another one, I think that's not very difficult. Maybe we'll need to just move it down to the draw section, and I'll what is it called? Fructor. I'll have to check it again. The name. Okay. So, but this is banking on the fact, Jenny, that in your HTML you have mentioned both the font names. So, that you need to be a bit careful about. I don't think you can just directly assume that if I just pop the name here, it'll come through. I think it needs to read it through that. So, so yeah, so this is sort of the simpler way of doing it. Now we look at, I don't have any fonts on this system, so I'll just have to download one of these. So maybe I'll download this font here. Zen. Okay, so if I wanted to download fonts, what I'll need to do is I'll let me save this and share it with you guys, and then I'll start off the next one. By the way, if you ever want to like just go through some of the things you did, and I haven't shared the link in the editor slash p5.js, I think if you just write editor .p5js.org and then put my name and sketches, it should give you a list of all of my sketches, even if I wasn't necessarily interested in sharing them with you, but they'll still all be there. I don't mind really, so you can pick them up from there. Some of them are named for the project, some of them don't have any specific names. So you can go through them and see whatever, like, so if you find something interesting. Uh, then the other thing is why we were looking at loading fonts. So now typically font files have extensions called OTF or TTF. I think both work easily in p5.js. This, I'm just sharing this because some people may prefer that they are using a particular font that's not available online or not available with Google Fonts. In either of those cases, or it's something specific you've designed or you want to try or whatever. So here in your sketch files where you uploaded your images last week, you will do upload file and you will add your font. So I've uploaded this font here. Oh, so it's saying it's too big. I think it needs to be less than 5 MB. So maybe I need to check another font. Maybe I'll try this. Sorry, just give me a minute. Excuse me. So I'll do upload again, and here I've got array. What is this? So I've got this Roboto Black TTF. So just like we did in uploading, preloading your images, you need to then preload this as a font. So I can call it anything. I just call it, say, my font, and then I'll say function preload, and then I'll say my font equals load font F capital, and then the name of the font, which is here. Okay, and then uh, just like we did text font earlier, so text font called my font, and then text, and so this is like a much bigger, I mean bolder font, maybe this way. So this is also a simple way to move this here. And then of course the same things work across in, as we've done in all other formats that we've tried with p5.js, that can move it around. And then I'll take this back here, and then, you know, like get a trail of text or whatever. Or like so here maybe if I can even like reduce the opacity, say like maybe I made it 20, and then I can get like this very beautiful kind of a trail going. So what's happening in this particular thing is that although the frame rate is refreshing with the background, but the background itself is like so transparent, almost translucent, that it gives this kind of an effect. So I think this could be quite nice if you're like trying something interactive, you know, it really gives a sort of very ethereal kind of effect. So this is the basic of loading fonts. So I'll give you maybe like 5 minutes. You can just pick a font from Google Fonts and try to load it, and let me know if you're facing any issues. If you want to load something from your own computers, please go ahead, no problem. And I'll share this one also with everyone. So here I was able to resolve that width and height. I don't know, maybe I was doing something wrong. Uh, but I think it's taking it per word. So at the end of one word, it moves to the next line based on the fact that we've given a width of 70 pixels for the text. And when the height was, say, like 90 when I did it here, so you can see it's only showing up. So it essentially doesn't like cut it in a crass way. It cuts it more based on the words that are coming into this text body here. Mm-hmm. Okay, so once you're at the Google font, whichever one might be, like say this, then I can select whichever style I prefer. So like say for example, I want this only this style, which is like semi bold and italic. I'll do select, and then here you might notice that there's a little red kind of notification type of a circle. So here you'll have the fonts. And there are two options, link and import. You have to use link. Let me know when you all are done. Shraddha is done, right? Here? Yeah. Okay. Uh, 1 second. It's is it showing up like 1 second? Is it showing up like this? Uh, oops, 1 second. I'll just share it with you. There should be one link that says fonts.googleapis.com. Then the second one will say the same thing and it has the extra word cross origin. And then the third one will refer to the particular font which we have taken, which is suppose here I have taken open song. You may be looking at something else. Do you want to share it with me on mail quickly? I can check it if you'd like. यहाँ पे भी शेयर कर सकते हैं चंदा जी, ऑन द चैट इटसेल्फ, मे बी द स्केच का लिंक ना, वही मैं कर लेती हूँ, ठीक है ना? हाँ, मे बी दैट विल बी फास्टर। हाँ, this is fine, Chanda ji. All three links are looking fine. Huh, you can add them as is like this. Then in the sketch, in the text font, you can put the double quote or a single quote like this, and then add the font. I don't know what font I had used here, but oh, sorry, open source. Yeah, like this. Okay. तो एक बारी you are in sketch. This must be showing like this. So we'll open the arrow here and then you'll be on your HTML file. And here, the file should be like this. And so where you see line number 8, where you see the head is slash head, before that you can hit one enter and then copy paste there. And if everything is showing in pink, then there's no error. But suppose there's something like a black like this, there might be some error in copy. Okay, so now we'll go back to the sketch file and text F capital font, and I think yours is Poppins, right? So you can just add uh, with double quote Poppins, and then of course you'll have to add your text here. All okay? Shall we move ahead? Okay. Okay, so now that you guys know how to add text, you know how to change the size of the font, and you know that mouse X, mouse Y works here, or you can keep it fixed. We are going to look at how to add an array, or what is called an array, which is like also a list basically. And in p5.js or in JavaScript, you tend to call it an array. Now it's nothing, it's no rocket science, it's very simple. An array is just a list of anything that you'd like. It could be a list of numbers, it could be a list of letters, it could be a list of words. It could also be a list of file names that are calling images. Even I am not so clever to do that, but at least I can share with you how to do it for text and images. Sorry, text and uh, and numbers. So you just need to set up a variable, and for this, maybe for this example, I'll just call it w list, or maybe w array. So w is for the workshop, and then you need to put a square bracket. We haven't used this in the past ever, so this will be the only new thing here. And in the square bracket, I'll add some words. So for example, I could add yeah, Shraddha. So that's, I think that's all of you. Yeah. Okay, I'll add myself also. Just feel included. So it's five of us, and this is now an array that obviously it's because it's global. You can call it in the setup, or you can call it in draw. So the first thing to know about arrays are that they can be dynamic. There are ways to add and remove things from arrays. We'll not do that today. It's a little bit complex, but it's very much a possibility. So that's why they are very useful in making dynamic apps and things like that. They are very commonly used in that. So we'll first look at it very simply. We'll just do a console.log, and we'll just say w array. So this will give me the list of all our names. There's nothing new, we already know it. The only reason we might want to do this ever is because we don't know what all is on the list. It could be like hundreds or 200 words, and we don't know, and we want to just get a sense of it. Uh, so this is one thing that you look at, like what the array is, and you'll observe that Navya's name doesn't have the number one in front of it, even though hers is first. It in fact starts at zero. So this is like a typical thing that computers tend to do. They don't start counting from one; they start counting from zero. And till recently, I didn't realize that we also learned it in the same way, because Yugen also started learning from zero. So the counting is always zero. So if I want to know, sorry, uh, excuse me, sorry, there's something coming up here on my computer. Give me a minute, please.